it's me, JV, and welcome to this week's Up Saturdays. Ladies and gentlemen, I was thinking about topics for this week and I decided, hey, we've never really talked about my love for horror games, so I wanted to go over my top 5 favorite horror games in the video game realm. I've definitely got a definite list because I used to detest anything remotely related to horror, but as I started streaming on Twitch, I realized, like, A, it's really fun for people to watch me play horror games because I'm so genuinely terrified while I play them, but B, they actually, fill me with an experience that I haven't really gotten from any other type of game, and that's obviously why people play horror games. But I ended up craving it. I was like, okay, now I really want more great horror games to play, and so I've gone through pretty much the list of all the best horror games, except for certain ones like Amnesia I still need to play, and the Fear games, for instance, and Alien Isolation, which I have played but I need to complete. But other than that, I've made it a point to complete most of the best horror games, and we've done that on Twitch for the most part. So I wanted to go over my top 5, starting from worst, these are all great, to best. Let's get into it. So for number 5, we have Layers of Fear. This was such a mind-blowing game when it first came out, which I think was about either 2016 or 2017. This game is just best described as a psychological mind fuck that constantly messes with you throughout the entire time, and it was so unique to me at the time. I had never experienced anything like this. As far as the horror goes and the scares, it's definitely really low on this list, but it doesn't matter because the only way that I can describe this without you playing, and I don't want to really spoil anything because that's all of the fun of this game, is like you will walk into a room, see like a door, you'll go to check it, it's locked, so you turn around, that's locked too, so you turn around again and now it's a hallway. And it's so seamless the way that they did this. And games, even on this list, have done that since, but this was the first that I had ever played like that, constantly changing its environments and messing with you. And it was just a delightful experience. I recently replayed through this because Layers of Fear 2 came out, which was good but not nearly as good in my opinion, and it held up just as well. All of the mind trickery, all of the crazy moments throughout that entire game, plus the visuals and the colors are excellent, and it's got a really great story. So if you like more walking simulator-y, more story-based horror games that have an awesome aesthetic and really interesting visual things that mess with you, Layers of Fear is the one to play. At number 4, we have Soma. This one was developed by Frictional Games, I believe, which was the developers of Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which was huge on YouTube when it first came out. This is also, Amnesia is one that I haven't played yet, but I have played Soma, which they created, and again, I love this game from start to finish. This is also kind of a walking this one has definitely more gameplay elements than some of the other games on this list, I would say, but the overall thing here is the mystery of the story. This has one of the best stories on this list, and it's really good. I can't really talk about it at all because it's such a mystery, and anything that I say would kind of spoil things that I want you, the viewer, to experience for yourself. I can say that the setting is incredibly interesting, and throughout the entire time you're just asking yourself what the hell is going on in this world. And so because of that, again, the horror elements are kind of pushed a little to the side compared to the story and the characters and things like that, but to me that's not a negative at all. I mean, when you play a horror game, you either want something really scary, which we'll definitely be talking about after this one, or something really engrossing in terms of its story, and this is definitely on that side, as well as Layers of Fear. Both of those games are much more geared towards the story and sort of the presentation than just the flat out horror and scariness of them. But I love this game from start to finish, and I'm realizing now I can't really talk about it too much because the entire reason why I love it so much is because I love solving mysteries. Whenever I watch or play anything related to mysteries, it's my favorite thing to try and piece it together, and this is this game from start to finish. The story was really compelling and great, and it stuck to me until this day, and I love this game so much that I'm probably going to do a replay of it at some point, not sure when, but all of these horror games I've wanted to replay, and I have replayed replayed multiple times, and that's definitely true for Soma. So yeah, just know that the visuals are excellent, the setting's excellent, the plot, the characters, the voiceovers are all really great, and I'm gonna kind of leave it at that because you should experience this for yourself if you're interested in horror games on any level. You'll see once you play it and get to the end of the story, I think. Number 3 is gonna be Outlast. Oh, Outlast. I remember I streamed this during the early ages of my stream. We had an F-bomb counter, and I don't remember what the number was, but it was extremely high because this game is terrifying from start to finish. Now there have been games that have better visuals that have come out since then, but at the time, this was the most realistic looking, scary as hell game that I had ever remotely even touched. This one beat everything in terms of just sheer scariness factor. You play a reporter trapped in a mental hospital, and as the name would suggest, you're trying to outlast the horrors that are around you. And the game deals with a lot of running from very scary people that are trying to mess you up. The sound is excellent. The main music track is in my mind right now, the because you hear that throughout the entire thing, like just violins like shrieking as people are trying to grab you. It deals with a lot of jump scares, a lot of running. You're trying to basically run around a set area in a lot of instances to solve the puzzle and escape capture. It's got horrifyingly gruesome visuals to it. A lot of people have been experimented on and are messed up, and there's just some really messed up stuff in that game that I'm not going to spoil. Story and everything like that are kind of pushed to the side. This is the opposite of Layers of Fear and Soma, where in my opinion it's all about the gameplay and the visuals and just the sheer terror of it, as opposed to the story and everything like that. Story's fine, everything about that is fine, but to me it's just outlasting the horrors that are in this game. It was such a unique experience, and one that if you are ready for it, you should definitely play it, because it is unlike anything else I had seen at the time, and it definitely still holds up because I recently replayed this one too. I think Greyjoy wants to talk about the next one. What is it, buddy? That would be Visage. That's right, Visage. Holy crap. This is the type of situation where this could tie for number 1 on my list. Visage is the scariest game I have ever played. In terms of just scares, Visage is number 1. This is an early access game that at this time only has 2 chapters available to it, for a total of, I'm gonna guess, 3 or 4 to 5 chapters that are gonna be coming out. So that should tell you, if this is up there on my list and it's only still early access and only has 2 chapters out of the, again, estimated 5, I'm assuming, that should tell you that this is really good, in my opinion at least. This has the best horror environment and scares out of any game on this list and any game I have ever played. I cannot talk this game enough. The setting is in a gigantic sort of, it's a normal looking house, but it kind of supernaturally gets bigger with more rooms and passages and things like that. But if you've ever seen the trailer for PT or that Allison Road game or whatever, it's similar to that. It's in a very realistic setting. The graphics are extremely good and look very realistic, and so you're just immersed like all hell. Like even Outlast, some of the graphics and stuff are a little outdated, and some things are a little silly, like the people stitched together and stuff like that. But this game has definitely the most realistic aesthetics to it, and thus, again, you're immersed. And the scares, oh my god, I can't even talk about the ones that are popping up in my head, I have one head, in my head, because if you're gonna play this yourself, any of these would give away some amazingly beautiful, frankly, scares that I was just hoping for as I was playing. I was like, oh my god, imagine if they did this, and then they did it. I just think that in terms of pacing, in terms of the set scares at each point throughout the game, this is what I wanted. This is like something that they just knew what they were doing, and I am waiting on hand and foot for each chapter that comes out. In fact, at the time of this video that you're watching last night, Friday night, I should have played chapter 2 because it just came out, and so I hope I liked it, and I hope that stream went well, because I've been waiting for that for a long time. Cannot talk enough about Visage. If you love horror games and you have Steam, please play it. It is just astoundingly good. There's negatives to it, of course, like every other game on this list, but wow, I love this game. And last but definitely not least, number 1 on my list just for sheer game factor, it's the only one on this list that's like, is it the only one that's not an indie game? I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly about the studios, but it's the only one that's an actual like full-priced retail big studio game, and that's gonna be Resident Evil 7. I know people are polarized with this one, but you have to understand that I didn't grow up with Resident Evil games. I was definitely more Nintendo than PlayStation, so a lot of, although I do think Resident Evil was on the N64, right? But I just didn't play Resident Evil as a kid, and I didn't play like 4 or 5 or 6 when they were coming out either. I saw my friend play some of them. So I just did not grow up on Resident Evil. So for this game to come out and for it to be so radically different from the other Resident Evils because it's first person and it's just more, it's more modern. It's first person. The graphics are astoundingly great. The setting's different. The sort of themes, I guess, are different. It's a lot different from the other Resident Evils that I've played since then. I've played 4, loved it. I've played 2, the remake, loved it. But Resident Evil 7 is very different, and it was very good for me to jump onto the series. I love the setting, a Louisiana sort of ranch house with these horrible people, the bakers that chase you throughout this entire house in different sections of it. It's decrepit, it's rotting, and you can like smell it through the screen. They did the setting so well. I just loved every aspect of this game, from the characters to the gameplay to the setting to the graphics. Everything was an absolute joy for me to play. The guns were excellent to use and upgraded, yada yada yada. I hated horror games at the time of me playing this. I played it because I knew people would enjoy watching me play it on Twitch, and I ended up 100%ing it on Steam, getting all the achievements and even doing the achievement where you have to beat it in less than 5 hours or something. Just in terms of like being a game, like a $60 retail game, this is number 1 on my list because you get the most bang for your buck. It's from, you know, Capcom, so it's a beautifully detailed and high budget game, you know what I mean? And for that, it's number 1 because especially if you pick it up cheap now, you will have a lot of fun with it. So I know this video is running probably long, so I'm not going to keep this outro long here, but that's my list of my top 5 favorite horror games. I'm curious to see what you think and what yours are, so let me know in the comments section below. Like I said, some of these I still have yet to play, like Amnesia, like Alien Isolation, and I know they're very big. We'll probably get to them on Twitch at some point, or YouTube, who knows. But yeah, I'm curious to think or to hear what you have to say about it, and just let me know. Thank you so much for watching this week's Sub Saturdays, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you Monday for some more The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 100% playthrough on Twitch, and Let's Play Ender All Forgotten Stories on YouTube. And if you want to support me, the support is very appreciated at this point because YouTube's been kind of slow lately, and all of my bills are up. It's kind of inversed since moving into this house. So thank you for those that support me on Patreon, and everywhere else. I really, really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.